Hello and welcome to ALW Research Team. This is episode 2 of our Royal Air Force Laarbruch Museum Explore. Come join us as we discover this massive array of Cold War artefacts. Samurai sword.
Yeah, it's an arsenal one, which means it were war issue, service issue.
Yeah, there's a lucky soldier going home at the end of the war. Many didn't get the opportunity to do that.
Dave up Richard. That doesn't sound right nice, does it?
Who's Richard anyway?
No, they liked it up him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
More outtakes.
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass.
Good fakes though, aren't they? They're good.
Yeah. They will have just taken the mould of an original aircraft, I think.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's lovely and sunny out here now.
Got old George Formby.
Yeah, turned out nice again. So when we were on Beaufort Anti-Aircraft Squadron, we used to go on the firing range with the Beauforts, and the Canberras used to come along, and the bomb bays were adapted, and they had a big long tow line, and they used to drop a cable out, and on the end of that cable was a drone, and they used to fly around in circles paying out this drone until it was about 5 mile of cable, and then they'd fly across the front of the guns. Once the aircraft was clear, they'd allow the guns to fire, and we used to shoot at the drone flying past us. At the same time, we used to put machine guns on a static fire roll, and they used to fly radio controlled aircraft by us, and we'd shoot them down with the machine guns. Good fun.
Yeah. Camera hatch. So this is where the camera was, at the rear of the aircraft. Yeah. These were fitted to aircraft in the jet age due to advancements in aircraft. The speeds were getting higher, and the fuselages were so smooth. You drop a bomb out of the bomb bay, and because the air was so smooth, it created a blanket in front, and the bombs used to sit about 10 feet below the aircraft and they wouldn't drop. So they fitted these to distort the airflow, so it would distort it so the bombs would fall. So this is in the wheel bay of a Canberra. You can see the alloy ribs. The bird's nest. Yeah, these were built by English Electric, and many of them were in use until well into the 21st century. So they were just such a versatile aircraft. A 24 volt DC supply. If I go up to here, you might be able to see Dave inside. It's all reflecting. It's too reflective.
This was the bomb aimer's position.
Can't have been comfy.
No.
Laid on your front, several hundred knots in there.
Well, especially this small area where you have to climb through to get there.
Yeah, around the rudder pedals. Ah, this is a different mark. It doesn't have the co-pilot's
Pedals.
No, and they've moved the main pilot across. So the main pilot's system was moved across. There isn't the secondary throttles here, and there's a little walkway or crawlway for the bomb aimer. But it was horrendous flying around in one of these. Can you imagine this on a summer's day in here?
Warm.
Yeah.
Well, you could just open the window and let a bit of fresh air in, could you?
Yeah, it's coming quite fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do actually have windows you can open there. But I'm in the wrong f-stop for you to look at that. Yeah, so that's the bomb aimer's position. Pilot's area, a lot of the instruments are missing from this aircraft. But back here, you can see the bomb aimer's seat, navigator's seat, and then the rear of the navigator's controls. I'll just try and hold you in there so you guys at home can get a better view of what's back here. But comfort wasn't something that was built into these. These were built for a purpose, and a purpose only. There's your circuit breaker section there. These were like a push and pull circuit breaker. There we go, that's where the bomb aimer would have looked through. He would have looked through that to look at the target. But these weren't used for very long as a bomber. These were used as a reconnaissance electronic warfare aircraft. And that's what kept them in service for so long. Because they were so good at that role. Because they had the possibility of 3 POB, which is persons on board. Plus they had the huge bomb bay that could be re-rolled to carry reconnaissance or electronic warfare equipment. So we're going in now to what was the Astra Club, which was a cinema. Dave used to come here and watch movies.
I did.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Did you come in with a WAF?
No, we just used to come in with mates like and watch a film that come out at the time. Just trying to remember what films had come out. I
But
don't
we're
know.
talking late 70s.
We're talking 40 years ago or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-war, pre-Jaws, pre-Rambo, pre-Rocky. So we've got a Hawk Hunter. Got a Chinook there. English Electric Lightnings. They had twin Avons engines, but they were one on top of the other. Three Squadron. That's a Harrier GR3. So here we've got various. We've got a GR7A taking off there. Or is that a GR3? I think that's nearly a GR3. And these are the aircraft hides that we were looking at earlier. There's a Harrier operating from an aircraft hide. And there's one under the camo netting that Dave mentioned earlier. Panavia Tornado.
Viewers, links to the earlier episodes are in the description box and the playlist tab.
Here we've got a Hawker Hunter. And this is where Dave used to spend most of his time.
Most of my time. I'll have a McKeown's Export, please. Cheers.
That's what Dave used to do.
Through ptarmigan and VHF radio. And because operations are carried out in radio silence, they acquire civilian telephone lines and run a small
But it's still RAF
Still
Regiment.
RAF Regiment, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Dave served in the Royal Air Force Regiment here at Royal Air Force Laarbruch in the 1970s and the early 1980s.
parks, one for each Harrier squadron. They become mobile warehouses, supplying the needs of the entire force, a total of some 3,000.
This is a Hawker Hunter.
The Hawker Hunter was in service with the Royal Air Force from 1954 until around 1991.
So these are the front seats of the... I thought these had been removed, but these are the cinema seats. Dave could have sat on some of these seats back in the 70s.
In the day, when I was a lad.
That's an Avon. So the English Electric Lighting had two of these, one on top of the other.
I could have gone, hello, what's your name? Where are you going after? You fancy a drink? Yeah, I get it, strong silent type, eh? Yeah, you'll do for me.
That's just a flashback to the 70s for you,
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, except your hands are where I can see them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is another Avon. The Canberras also had Avons, two Avons, but they weren't afterburnered on the Canberra. The English Electric Lightning had afterburner as well. We're going to go see some of these aircraft soon, Dave.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're going to go see some of these aircraft.
Nice.
These aircraft used to be here.
Yeah.
These were captured aircraft from other air forces, and we're going to go somewhere where these aircraft are.
Brilliant.
So,
Looking forward to that.
if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, we are going to go see some of these aircraft. There's one of those there as well. So they must have got this Hunter in by removing the wings, getting it in through those doors there, and then putting the wings back on.
Yeah.
Now that looks like a drop tank, but it's actually a reconnaissance pod. So they use those for reconnaissance.
There's a string vest that RAF firefighters used to wear. RAF firefighters used to be part of the RAF Regiment, and they were trained at RAF Catterick. But then they've split up and made a separate section, so the firefighters and the regiment became different units then.
Oh yeah, there's some of the firefighting helmets, firefighting hats, face masks, tube fire extinguishers. There's a Halon 1211 fire extinguisher, BCF. And this is the cockpit of a Hawker Hunter. Well, it's an entire Hawker Hunter, but we're going to look at the cockpit area. So this was a twin-seat aircraft. We've got a pilot and a flight observer. We've got the throttles down here, central control column going into the floor. Then we've got the instrument panel, airspeed, artificial horizon compass, fuel pressures, engine speeds, engine exhaust, gas temperatures, all in here. And these are again fitted with the Martin Baker seats, but they aren't fitted with pins. These have actually got bolts in them, solid bolt through the Martin Baker. You pull that to operate. So there's 3 ejection handles on these. There's one here, one here, and then there's one in the centre. See that handle? You pull that, so you've got 3 points of ejection from these aircraft.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share. Join us next week as we discover the Rapier anti-aircraft missile system and the other weapons that were used by the Royal Air Force Regiment. Bye bye.
Looking over my shoulder, looking back at your door.